Peace and love, family. It's your girl Yinka, your favorite womb goddess, and I am back with another video teaching the girls how to tap into their goddess energy. So, if you are new here, welcome. Go ahead and pull up a seat. Go ahead and hit that subscription button and turn on that notification bell so you do not miss more content talking about divine feminine energy, healing your womb space holistically, and overall holistic healing. If that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you like this video, if you get any quality from this video, any value from this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button as well so that you can put me in the algorithm with the YouTube gods. Okay, so as y'all can see, the title of this video is The Law of Confidence. And the reason why confidence is so important is because when you are tapped into that frequency of confidence, that law of confidence, you can pretty much have whatever you want in this lifetime. You can have whatever you want in this lifetime, as the prophet E.T. says. As the prophet Eric Thomas says, the hip hop preacher, he says, you know, be demanding, be freaking demanding. Okay, like you have to be demanding in life. You have to, and to be demanding, you have to walk with a certain confidence. Like, let's go back to anybody that you admire, anybody that you look up to, anybody that you have followed, whether it be on social media, whether it be off social media, anybody that you look up to, I can almost guarantee one of the main qualities that they have, the reason why you're so attracted to them, the reason why they're a leader, the reason why people follow them is because of the confidence that they exude. If we go back and look at all the multimillionaires, all the billionaires, anybody who out there in their bag, period, one thing that they all have in common is confidence. They know for sure that whatever they set their mind to, that they can achieve. They know for sure that if they can see it, they can have it. They can manifest it in some way. They do not take no for an answer. They take, okay, they look at that as redirection. They look at that as, you know, another, just redirection, just another avenue. Like, oh, no, just me, not right now. Okay, cool. I'll circle the block back in another hour or two. But they do not accept no for an answer. And a lot of you women are not tapped into this confidence. So I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. If you are somebody who does not, you lack confidence, you lack self-esteem, this is the video for you. So keep watching, and I hope that you get the answers that you need to tap into your law of confidence, or utilize the law of confidence to get whatever you want in this life. So let's get right into it, y'all. So when it comes to the law of confidence, why is this important? The reason why it's important is because when I see people with low self-esteem, or when I see people who just lack confidence, one of the main things it comes from is usually because a lot of people have told you who you are instead of you knowing who you are. When it comes to confidence, when people know for sure who they are, it's because they have been through certain things. They no longer live for other people. Like, a lot of people who are not confident are not confident because they are afraid what other people might think of them. They have this self-sabotaging mentality because they've been disappointed a lot, or a lot of people have told them, that might not work out. A lot of people have, deflected their energy onto them, and they started to believe it. Whatever the case may be, if you lack confidence, it can be reversed. Like, that's not a character trait that you have to live with. Like, you were born confident. Let's be clear. You were born confident. You were born knowing that you could have whatever you want. If you look at a child, if you look at a baby, a toddler, or whatever, they know that if they scream, if they holler, whatever they want to do, they know that this thing gets me what I want. So let me keep doing this. If I want to cry, if I want to scream, I know that that's going to get me what I want. So they are determined to get what they want by crying. They are determined. A toddler, they want a toy in a store, they're gonna have a hissy fit because they know that this gets me what I want. So a lot of people are still operating in the sense of a toddler when it comes to getting what they want, because they act out instead of just exuding confidence and being determined to get what they want. So How do you utilize the law of confidence? How do you become more confident? For one, I feel like I say this in every video, but all of this stems back to self-awareness. It stems back to knowing who you are. When you know who you are, you can be your authentic self. Being your authentic self is what a lot of people don't practice, because for one, they don't even know what their authentic self is, and for two, they still have this veil over their eyes where they feel like they have to perform. Like, who are you when you're not performing? Who are you at the core when you don't have to perform for people, when you don't have to wear a title or live up to a title or a standard of someone else? Who are you at the core? When you start to walk in that purpose, or walk in that authenticity, the confidence automatically follows. Okay, the confident automatically follows. One of the best ways to tap into that energy of your authenticity is owning your truth, owning whatever you've been through, owning whatever your path has looked like so far. Like, people always talking about, throwing stones in a glass house. Like, I don't, necessarily promote throwing stones at all, but I live in a glass house. Like, I am open. I'm very transparent. Like, there's absolutely nothing that somebody can bring up that I haven't already brought up about myself. Like, there's nothing that anybody can bring up and I'll feel ashamed about it, because everything that I've been through, everything that I've experienced was a part of my journey, and I've already accepted it as my truth. Like, that does not define me. My mistakes does not define me. Your mistakes do not define you. Your experiences do not define you. They just are experienced to mold you to who you are today. So it's kind of a slap in the face when you've gone through certain things and you've actually survived it and you're embarrassed about it. Like, oh, my mom was a crackhead. I'm embarrassed about that. But you survived as a child living with an absent parent that might have still been there, but you survived that as a child. That should be a badge of reward, a badge of honor, something that you should be proud of. Not necessarily proud of her, but proud of yourself for surviving that. So when you look back at all the things that you've been through, when you go back to all the things that you feel ashamed of or the mistakes that you've made, a lot of people live in regret. When you learning how to not have regret for anything, but owning whatever that was and understanding that this is my truth. I had to experience that to be where I am today. I had to learn those skills to be able to do what I do today. Like, when you accept those your past as truth, because it is your truth, and you're not lying about it, you're not trying to hide it from anybody. Like, granted, everything is not everybody's business. Y'all know my social media presence. Y'all know my personality, but y'all do not know everything about me personally, because it's just not important. I'm very transparent, but at the same time, I share what I feel is necessary, that is going to benefit you guys. I don't just tell my business just to be telling it. If I'm telling us a testimony about anything, it's to help someone else. But when it comes to a lot of people, you tend to either lie about your past or completely try to avoid it. If someone brings it up, you're like, oh no, that wasn't me, or no, I didn't go through that. Like, a lot of people try to act like they just grew up with this they didn't have any struggles, or a lot of people lie and act like they had struggles when they really probably had a really decent life, like just because they get more attention with the bullshit. Like, honestly, like, talk about it. Like, a lot of people out here trying to act like they got that new energy. Like, you trying to act like you had such a hard upbringing because it seems cool, or like the rappers out here who everybody gathered out the mud. Everybody, like, every rapper did not start off in poverty. Every artist did not have to starve to be to where they are. Like, Beyonce, for an example, have not seen poverty a day in her life. So you guys need to accept your authenticity, accept your truth, so that you can walk in your authenticity, so that you can stop showing up as with this mask on, or showing up as this wounded person, and you can show up as who you truly are. Don't look at yourself as a mistake. Don't look at yourself, don't look at life through the lens of having regrets, but don't look at yourself as somebody who, you know, makes a lot of mistakes. If you even feel like you make a lot of mistakes, I don't believe in making mistakes. I believe in making decisions and standing on my decision. Whether I like the outcome or not, I made that decision. I don't believe that was a wrong choice. I don't believe in, you know, making the wrong choice. Whatever that choice was, I'm going to stand on it, and that's what I chose to do. So I'm going to live with whatever those consequences look like. But I don't believe in making a wrong choice. It just is what it is. Like, that's what you were feeling in the moment. That's what you decided to do. Like, it just is what it is. So stand on those choices, stand on those decisions, so that you don't later on feel regret for anything. Like, a lot of women, they regret who they had children with. They regret who they married. Like, why would you regret it when it was an experience? Like, if you didn't experience those things, you wouldn't be who you are today. So why would you regret that? That's just like going back and taking back a part of your history. And then you have to realize all the other factors. If that one piece of your history was removed, nothing that you have today will look the same. That just is what it is. So learning to live without regrets, learning to just stand on whatever decision that you make, and just stand on it. That will also help you to be more intentional with the decisions that you make, and not just out here making decisions because someone else told you. That's the only way. I take that back. That's the only bad decision that I say that somebody can make, when you're making decisions because somebody else told you to make it. When you're making your own decisions, there's no bad decision, there's no good decision. It just is what it is. But when you're making a decision because of what somebody else told you to do, you're not making the decision, you're allowing other people to make decisions for you. Those are bad decisions, and that's the only decision that can be bad. But if you made that decision yourself, stand on that decision, sis. Like, there was nobody fault but your own. That wasn't, you know, the devil being busy. That wasn't, you know, your karma for, like, you literally made the decision. Stand on whatever consequences come with that. And it doesn't matter if it didn't break you, it didn't kill you, you still have the opportunity to go the other way or to make better decisions after this one. So don't get too caught up on the decisions that you make. Just learn how to trust yourself so that you can walk in your truth, and you don't have anything that you regret when it comes to life. So authenticity is the first thing when it comes to the law of confidence, because nobody can use anything against you when you've already, you know, put it all out there. Like, nobody can use anything against you that you've already accepted as true. Then this goes back to the art of reflecting. When you go back and look at your life, when you go back and look at the things that you've overcome, when you go back and look at the things that you've survived, it's kind of hard not to feel like a badass. You know, like, I feel like a lot of times people go back and they look at their history and they're like, oh, I made this stupid mistake, I was young and dumb. And that might be the truth, but at the end of the day, I also go back and look, oh, when I was young and dumb, this could have killed me, this could have had me in jail, this could have done this could have done that, and I was still blessed enough to not have done that. I'm blessed enough for that not to be my story. I'm blessed enough to still have survived that. I am a badass. That's how I look at it. Like, girl, like, you survived that with these resources, with this support, like, with this, you know, like, whatever that circumstance is. When you start to reflect and actually go back and see, like, dang, like, I really did do that. I really did come out of that. Like, I really am, you know, what do you call it? An exception to the rule. Like, go back and look at your legacy, especially if you are like a first generation a business owner or college student or whatever the case is. Like, you are setting the tone, like you're shaking up the legacy that your family had once made for you. If you're somebody who stands out and you're doing things differently, like, you are beating the odds. It is I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I believe I read somewhere that is a 7% chance that people who are born into poverty are going to get out of poverty. It's a 7% chance, because most people who are a product of their environment do not have the resources, do not have the will, do not have the desire to change their environment. They've just accepted this to be what we do. Like, this is just the cards that we were dealt, and they just accept it instead of, you know, y'all know if y'all play spades, but I throw my hand in real quick. Let me only have like 2-3 spades. Like, let me have like 2-3 spades, and they like the low ass numbers, like a 5 or 6. I ain't got no spades, throwing a hand. I'm gonna throw that hand in so quick. You do not have to settle for the cards that you were dealt in life. You can always reshuffle that thing up and throw something else out. You do not have to settle for the cards that you were dealt with. And I really feel like a lot of people, well, the majority, 93% of people, they just accept the fate that they were given instead of having the confidence to be able to say, this is not going to be my story. I do not like what I see. I don't like what my grandma did. I don't like what my mama been doing. I don't like the way y'all live. I got to do something better for me. That's what confidence is going to do. When you're able to reflect back on your generations after generations who have done certain things and you have went against the grain, you have been an exception to the rule, you have to pat yourself on the back for that. You have to be able to say, like, I really did that. Like, a lot of us do, we take for granted the things that we've overcome. We're not grateful for the experiences that we've had that molded us to be as disciplined as we are, that molded us to be as resilient that we are. Like, we take that for granted a lot of times, and that's not what we want to do or get in the habit of continuing to do. You want to be able to reflect back on the things that you've overcome. That way, when you face new obstacles, when you face new circumstances, you can be like, oh, well, if I survive homelessness, I know I can survive, my rent being late for a month. If I've survived, being isolated, being neglected, being abused, I know I can survive, working at this job and doing what I got to do to get my check and go back home and feed my kids. I know that if I survive, not having a car for years and taking public transportation, I could survive, getting my car repo. It's not that big of a deal. When you go back to look at the things that you've already survived, when you go back and look at the things and reflect back on the things that you've already conquered, it's going to boost your confidence every time you face a new obstacle. It's going to boost your confidence because, like, oh, well, if I can handle that with the resources that I had back then, oh, I know I can handle this. Because you're not starting over. You're starting over with more resources. You're not starting over from scratch. You're starting over with more resources, more knowledge. And if you've already been there before, it shouldn't take you that same amount of time to get through it again. It just shouldn't. So, what was the last thing? As it pertains to reflecting, sorry, I got my notes right here. But as it pertains to reflecting, also your past is your lesson. The lessons of your past are the tools that's going to help you to move forward in life. So a lot of us feel like if you feel like you are experiencing some of the same similar things again, a lot of us don't really understand that you go through what you go through to equip you for something that you're going to go through later on. Like, a lot of us don't understand, like, our trials, like it's a reason why we go through different things. It's a reason why everybody doesn't have the same story. What I might have gone through might kill you. What you might have gone through, it might not be that serious to me, or it might kill me. Like, a lot of people do not understand that when you go through anything in life, anything, it doesn't matter on what spectrum, how big or how small, when you go through anything in life, you have to understand that you're going through it because you're going to need those tools later on. You're going to need those tools later on. If I wouldn't have had to go, like, if so, for example, if I didn't have a car for a very long time and I'm mad, I'm upset, like, I need a car, but I've gone years without having a car. If I didn't go through that I wouldn't be equipped to be able to handle losing a car and not having a car. I wouldn't be equipped. So when I was going through it at that time, it was preparing me for when this happened later on. The same thing when it comes to isolation. As a child, I was somebody who was very isolated. I was very, by myself, black sheep in a corner by myself. Nobody really understood me. I was like that most of my childhood. And as an adult, I'm also somebody who's now equipped to be by myself because the line of work that I'm in, I'm very introverted, but the line of work that I'm in, it requires me to charge up and isolate myself from the rest. It requires me to have a level of discipline to not be to be able to not go out on dates all the time, or to not engage with everybody all the time, and to protect my energy. I've been training for that my entire life. So at that time when I was going through it as a child, I'm thinking of it in my mind like, you know, this is fucked up. Like, you know, I deserve to have real friends. I deserve to have family that support me. I deserve to have this and the third. I don't understand why I'm going through this. In that time, I did not understand. But as an adult, that same tool of being able to comfort myself, that same tool of being able to, you know, teach myself certain things, because I didn't really learn too much from my parents, because I didn't idolize anything that they was doing. So I didn't learn too much from them. So learning how to teach myself, learning how to parent myself, learning how to comfort myself by myself, and going within or going to the divine, that's something that I use to this day. I didn't know then that I had to deal with that in my adulthood as well. I'm thinking, you know, when I get grown, I'm gonna have, you know, good friendships. I'm gonna attract good people, and I'm gonna create my own family, which is true. I have done those things, but at the same time, I'm okay with being in my solitude, because I've been like that. I've been trained for that my entire life. Does that make sense? So when you understand that the things that you've been through your entire life are training you for different tasks that you're going to have to still see again, it's not that you overcame it so you'll never have to experience again. You're overcoming it so that you'll be equipped, that you'll have the tools to be able to survive it when you see it again. If I never went and fast, if I don't fast, if you're somebody who don't fast, and this is the reason why it's important to fast, if you're not somebody who fasts regularly, intentionally, then you won't be able to be that equipped when you go through a famine, when you don't have no money, when you have to go off the bare minimum, when the economy is off and you can't eat out and stuff the way that you used to. The fact that I fast regularly, I will be equipped if there was a famine and I just didn't have shit to eat for a month, because I fasted for a month before and I was on the bare minimum. Does that make sense? So while we are conditioning ourselves to look at trials and obstacles as something that's negative and bad, learn how to look at your obstacles as something that is building you and preparing you for the future, preparing you to be equipped for something that you're going to need later on in the future. And once you understand that, you'll start to love adversity. You'll start to naturally be more confident in doing things, because why wouldn't I be able to take a risk? Why wouldn't I be able to drop $50,000 in this investment? I've not had $50 before, so even if I spent my last on this investment, I can confidently take this risk and invest into this, because even if it flops, I've not had nothing before. I've not had nothing before. It could go really well. Sorry, y'all. It could go really well, and it could also my camera's dying, but it could go really well, and it could also go bad. Like, I could lose out on all the money, but at the end of the day, I've not had $50,000 before, so that's not gonna deter me from making this investment, because I'm not attached to the money. I'm not attached to the thing, and I understand, like, you know, whatever, like, if it was meant for me, it'll happen. If it's not meant for me, it won't. But at the end of the day, no matter which way it goes, I am still well. I am still blessed. I am still good. And that's what confidence is going to give you. A lot. When you lack confidence, it is because you lack when you lack confidence, it is because you lack not necessarily just self-awareness. I lost my train of thought, but it's not just self-awareness, but you lack problem solving skills to a certain extent. Like you lack problem solving skills. It's like a high level of fear. You lack high frequency. Like that's that low energy. Like you don't vibrate very high, because fear is the lowest vibration. So when you're lacking confidence, it's because you feel like, you know, you're going to do something wrong, or you don't have the right answers, or, you know, you're going to mess it up even more, or something like that. Like, when you lack confidence, it's because you look at other people as more smarter than you, or more successful as you, or, you know, whatever the case is. When you lack confidence, it is because something within yourself doesn't feel like you're good enough. Something within yourself doesn't feel like you're deserving of whatever this thing is, whether it be a person, a relationship, whether it be a business or a job or anything like that. When you don't fill out that job application because it looks too intimidating, it's because you don't think you're smart enough to be able to do it. You don't think that you're equipped enough to be able to qualify for the job. If you don't shoot your shot with somebody or show your interest in somebody, is because you don't think that you're pretty enough. You don't think that you're their type. I always say I'm everybody's type. There's nobody who's gonna come around me, like, whether I'm attracted to them or not, but there's nobody who's gonna come around me and say they don't like me as a person. And if you do, you just a hater. And that's just on some real shit. Like, if you do, you just a hater, because what's not to like? Like, I'm very cool peoples. Like, if I'm not, depending on who you asking, let me clarify, but depending on who you asking, but even the people who don't like me, like, they still like me low key. Like, they still like me because a lot of the stuff that I say is just it's gonna trigger you. It may trigger you, but at the same time, like, I say everything with love. Like, I don't come to people with no hate, no judgment or nothing like that. I'm just a vibe. So for somebody not to like me, like, go talk to your therapist about that. I don't feel like, and maybe that's just me being overly confident, but I just don't see me shooting my shot with somebody that I want. And I have a 100% success rate on shooting my shot. Like, I don't care if that person seems out of my league. There's no such thing as somebody being out of my league. There's no such thing as somebody being out of my league. If I want you, I can have you. That's period. Like, if I want an opportunity, I create the opportunity. I'm not sitting around waiting for no opportunity to find me. I make the opportunity, and I put myself in alignment for it to come to me. Point blank, period. Okay. All right. So that's all I have for you guys today. Let me know by putting a thumbs up or drop some comments, drop some gems down in the comments if this was helpful for you. I thank you guys so much. I thank you guys so much for listening to this video. I do appreciate it, especially for you getting to the end. Thank you so much for joining my channel, subscribing to my channel, liking and sharing it so that I can get into the algorithm. It does wonders for me. I do appreciate you guys. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure you hit that notification bell because there's plenty more videos where this came from, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.